Could you introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about what you enjoy, who you are? Just a short opening.
Okay, so my name is Gazelle Oakgrove, and I'm a very big crafts person and a very big cat lover, and I love to help out and volunteer in the community as much as I can, and I also like to tell stories and talk a lot.
How old are you and what school do you go to?
I'm 15. I go to John Marshall High School, and I'm in ninth grade. Holy break, ninth grade? I don't know.
What are some of the different skills that you have?
Oh, so I like to call them passions, not necessarily skills, but I like to crochet, learn new languages, and sew, and just any crafts, I guess. And I love to, I guess, be the center of attention. I have a very neat skill for that one.
So let's talk a little bit about that. I got to know you through the Human Library. Could you share what the Human Library is and why you're involved with that?
I first got involved with volunteering, so I got introduced to it by my mother, and she brought me to it, and I started volunteering and reading off the cards and the rules, or bringing people to their places where they were gonna sit down and talk at. Then I started getting more into listening in and started to talk about my experiences.
So what are the sorts of things that you share and why do you share that? From what I understand, you're called a human book. A human book is a person who shares their story with the Human Library, a nonprofit international organization. In each place the Human Library comes to, the system is the same. People have rules to help them stay safe and to feel comfortable, and so you can share what you want to share, you can stop any time, and we invite individuals from the community to be part of this conversation as well as to become volunteers. So just to kind of give an overview to any of the listeners, what do you share and why do you share that?
So I have two titles. One is Growing Up Without a Father, and another is Not a Victim. I have these titles to share my experiences and to, I guess, kind of make people aware of my, not necessarily my life, but just lives in general, because I share my experience with, like, growing up without a dad. I grew up with just my mom and just my brothers, you know, and that happens a bit too often in the world for it to be okay. Well, it wouldn't be okay in general, but like I let people know what that experience is like, and so they can expand their mindset on growing up without a dad, so they understand, it's not easy to grow up without that male figure in your life to depend on. So I think that's one of the main reasons I do it. Another is it's kind of therapeutic almost. It's having someone be really attentive, listening to you, that you don't have to pay for, and they share their experiences, and if they feel comfortable to, it really just kind of bounces back and forth, and you not only you share your experiences, but you expand your knowledge on others.
Would you be willing to share any of the information that you have shared with the Human Library conversation? And you can talk about it, or you can tell us the examples that you might share, whatever you feel comfortable with sharing.
Yeah, so like I have stories about, with growing up without a dad, say, there's times where at school there would be, oh, bring your father to school day, and you know, I'd either bring my mom, or actually my grandpa has been a huge person in my life that's been that male figure, and for him I'm very grateful for. But you know, my mom has kind of had to step up in the mom and dad role as well as she does with that. You know, it's not exactly the same. And something I really don't mention in my in my stories, because it's not necessarily about me, but like that impact of that male role for my brothers is very impactful too. And just having that experience of having that male figure in your life is just very, you know, learning how to play catch, whether you're a girl or a boy, you know, it just, I guess that stereotype, oh, mom says no and dad says yes, you know, and just being able to say, hey, my dad's home, you know, or, you know, things like that, just kind of, I don't want to say bring a person down, but it kind of like, at the end of the day, it kind of makes a little impact, saying, oh, I don't have a dad to say, to do that with, you know. But from like my grandpa, he doesn't live in town anymore, but you know, I'm still able to call my grandmother, and I share with them, you know, all the good stuff, or I'll tell them in the day, oh my gosh, you know, I just got a new phone, or you know, things like that. And so they're always really supportive and very, very, very spoiled by everybody. So, and then, you know, like I have another title, Not a Victim, and it's kind of telling about how things have, I guess, struggles have like impacted me, and how they haven't made me become, I guess, become a victim. And I like to say there's nothing wrong with being a victim. I personally just don't want to sit there and say, oh, pity me. But I'm not saying that's what a victim is, but you know, and I don't see a victim like that, but I just don't want to be in that role. I want to be as someone that overcame it, and not say, oh, that happened to you. I want to say, yeah, that happened to me in the past. I'm not that person, you know? I have no idea what I just said there, but that kind of really didn't make sense, but it sounded smart.
You know, it sounds really smart. So can you tell us a little bit about the bullying? Do you feel comfortable talking about that?
Yeah, so with bullying, you know, my mom, she's legally blind, and she has retinitis pigmentosa. I gotta get used to saying that. And so I had to pick up some responsibilities that have made me a lot more mature for my age. Like, I've had to kind of pick up some roles for my brothers, and kind of step up with the cooking and a little bit of cleaning here and there when I feel like it. And, you know, just a lot of roles that an average kid, teenager my age wouldn't do. And so I kind of grew up a lot faster than I guess I was supposed to. And, you know, I've done things like paperwork, you know, like when me and my mom go to the doctor's office, the lady would hand her the clipboard, but then my mom would hand me the clipboard, and then I'd fill it out, you know. It's just, so I've learned a lot of things, and I was also bullied for it a lot, because I would really care about my grades, because I wanted to make a better life. And so I would, like, someone would be talking and I'd go shh, or I guess I would be considered a snitch, because I'd say, oh, he's over there playing on his phone, you know. And things that just slip my mind. I'm like, oh, that's not right, you know. And just the other day, I was actually in class in high school, and a teacher was trying to figure out something, and the kids didn't want her to figure it out, because then, you know, they would get to fool around. I just, like, completely, like, went out there and told her what was happening. And they looked at me and they're like, oh my god. Just like, you know, and I just don't fit in with I guess the average teenager crowd. I'm moody and have an attitude, but not as much as your average teenager, you know. And it's crazy to, I guess, compare myself to other teenagers my age. And I myself, I'm very proud of how far I've come. But, you know, it's just, I dress different and I act different. I've been considered a teacher's pet, and for all those reasons I've been bullied, picked on, and just pushed around, and you know, and I've dealt with like things for my race even, you know, and I like going back to the term savage, like I take pride in my culture, so any chance I got, I would like make a presentation about being Native and stuff like that, and then I'd like kind of throw in there's like, oh, saying savage to a Native American is like saying the N-word to a black person. So, and I kind of, you know, pieced that together. And then after that, everybody started calling me a savage. And, you know, and they would like do racial actions, like, they were like, oh, you know, and, you know, I wouldn't necessarily feel like really hurt by it because I just feel really awkward and I don't know what I'd do. Like I wouldn't get really mad about it because I'm not that person. I don't choose violence over that, or like I don't really get really mad, but I'm just like, oh, why did you do that? You know, and for a while there I actually wasn't defending myself for any of that, and you know, because that's just not my personality. I want to try to fix things with words, or I want to fix things and just be friends with everybody. Another big thing I got picked on is for, like just recently, in middle school and high school now, I am a very happy, energetic person, and apparently that's not cool. You're supposed to be depressed and for you're being a teenager. And in the mornings, sometimes, if I'm not really tired, I'll be like all over the place. I'm like, oh my god, you know, and it's like, it's funny to see how like the kids look at me and like, shh, God, why are you awake? Like, oh my god, why do you have energy? It's like, because I can. Yeah.
I know that you do a lot of volunteering, sharing your story about having been bullied. And because of this experience, I know you've had a lot of reactions from adults and other kids your age as well when they come to the Human Library. For those people who don't go to the Human Library or hear your full story, what would you want a professional or an adult to know about bullying today? So I think that there's a lot of goals that we set for teachers, for professionals in different areas that work with youth, whether it's a social work or, I don't know, just being in the society together, being a neighbor, I'm not sure what. But what would you want either teachers or other adults to be aware of with bullying today?
Well, see, it's kind of like a hit or miss thing because, you know, you go to a teacher and the bullying will either stop or it'll get worse. And like, in my case, it's gotten really worse, and it's either gotten worse or the teachers and staff didn't do anything, and my mother actually had to step in, and she would have to come to the school and just yell, and boy, all my school staff and principals scared of her because she's just ooh. She's a scary person when she can be. But you know, and it's different because, you know, the teachers say, oh, it'll be fine, you know, we'll take care of it, and you know, they'll stop for a couple days, and the next day you're getting off the bus with your violin, having to protect yourself because they're sitting there trying to attack you. And that's a personal story. Oh man. But you know, it's just there's only so much they can do as to like you know, it's not like they can go over there and smack a kid and say, hey, quit doing that, you know, they can either talk to the parents, and a lot of times kids who are bullies stem from not the greatest childhood most time. You know, it's because they don't have the greatest home life and they need some place to take that out of. And so when they take it out on, I'm like, don't take it out on me, you know, it's like, so I go to staff and I'll go to someone and I'll say, hey, this is happening, because I don't want to sit there and fight them and say, hey, no, don't touch me, no, this type of thing. So I'll go to a staff and I'll tell them what's going on, and they'll call home, but you know, sometimes home won't do anything, or their home life will get worse, and then they'll get mad. And so, you know, I don't have an answer for that. I don't have a certain answer to say, hey, this is what you can do to make the school life better, because one thing you can do to make the school life better is to go into the home and just fix it up, but you can't do that. You can't go into someone's house, let alone everybody's house that like is having a struggle, and just magically fix someone who's having cancer, fix someone, a parent who is a disability or blind, or fix someone who is a drunk or a drug addict or a beater, not a beater, but like, you know, someone who abuses. That was a wrong choice of words, but you know, it's just, you can't go into everybody's home, or let alone one person's home, and just fix everything. So I guess that's one thing that me and whoever would want to help, you know, fix that would have to come up with, you know, and there's only so much you can do. Again, like, you know, there's resources out there. I've been talking about the Boys and Girls Club so much, that's the first thing that came to mind. Oh, look at the Boys and Girls Club is there. But cut that part out. But you know, it's just things like that are just it's just things like that.
All right, so let's go ahead and conclude this interview. I know we're going to talk again about the Boys and Girls Club. So to conclude, what would you share about the Human Library in particular, about why individuals should be a part of it to attend or to participate?
I guess to expand their knowledge on people, like, you know, I guess what the interviews before have been like your culture and your, you know, like the knowledge, like walking into a dental place and, you know, what actions or I guess words would be disrespectful or even racist. Expanding your knowledge on knowing, hey, savage is a wrong word, you know, or like, hey, pointing is like a big disrespectful no-no, you know, and so that's kind of like expanding your knowledge, saying, hey, don't point at that person because they might take it as disrespectful. Hey, don't look someone in the eye, which here is like a form of respect, but you know, it's things like that that are very, very big that I like to share. And another good reason is because, you know, you want to know, not everybody will have the same struggles, but everybody in the world will have their bad days and their struggles, and it's not because they want to, you know, sometimes it's like their form of release. Say, I guess, bullying. I don't know for experience because I don't like bullying, but maybe that's their way of saying, oh my god, I'm getting it all out, you know. But obviously it's not the best way to release your, I guess, anger and stuff, but it is a way that they have found that works for them because they haven't had that help that stuck with them that they needed.
Well, that sounds like a great place to stop. Thank you so much for sharing your lived experience on behalf of RCTC, Rochester Community and Technical College. I appreciate you spending time to share your story, and I hope that others will continue to learn from you, literally at the Human Library, or from others who may volunteer in a similar role. Thanks for your time.